Have you ever been gaming or working online classes and your internet service constantly gets interrupted? First Nations Fiber is about to ensure that just won't happen again. Get ready for high speed at a new level. Click on fnfiber.com and sign up today. First Nations Fiber, empowering people through connectivity.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Beading Table with your hosts, Iorì Stand-Up, and myself, Leith Makiwa. Iorì, how are you doing today? For those who are listening, we are on the spooky Halloween. How are you doing?
Good, very good.
I see her all dressed for the occasion. She has her
face paint,
my
war paint.
It's like bat.
I don't know what the hell it is.
I don't know. It's like you were crying all night.
Yeah, in black tears. No.
Yeah. And I see that to mark today's festivities here in Kahnawake, you have a discount for anyone who comes in dressed in a Halloween costume.
Yes, 10%.
For those who are listening, of course, like this is already passed. So you won't be able to.
So sorry, it'll be done by the time you hear this.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is going on? I hear you had a spooky scare the other night at a beading class.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yes. So I've been pretty busy. It's starting to get like the busy, crazy time
You're
of
like
year.
moonlighting on the side, eh?
Yeah, all over the place. So I had a 1 month class with this group. And it was at my friend Goriyahawe, Linda Delormier's. And it's like her beading group. It's her sisters, her cousins, her
crew.
Her crew, yeah. So every time, because she lives way out in the bush and her area is creepy for whatever reason, it's
dark. It's dark, really, right?
Dark. It's pitch black. It could be a full moon and it's pitch black just over her house. It's so damn scary all the time. So we always talk about scary stories when we're there. And then when we have to leave, we all leave together because everyone's afraid. To go at
night. Yeah.
Because the whole area is creepy, like her whatever. So we're always freaking scared and chicken and whatever. And we make it worse. So last night we were sitting there and she had all her, like she's got a lot of windows in that one room that we were beading in. And she had blinds. They're all closed except for one side that was open about, I don't know, half a foot. And not for any reason. We're just sitting there. She just had it slightly open, whatever. And we were all there and her sister Tracy's family is down from Six Nations. So she was like, oh, I want to get back and see my grandkids, whatever. So we're like, all right, goodbye, So she left. Well, half hour later now we're sitting there and we're, telling stories off and on, like scary and then funny and whatever, talking about life. And then I was facing the window and Linda's like facing me. So her back was like to the window. And we were talking. Oh my God, the topic. I don't know why, but we just got onto like vaginal steaming. So they were talking about that and Skasanity was talking about it. And I just looked up and caught my eye because that whole panel of the window was black the whole time. All of a sudden out of the corner of my eye, I was like, something's different. And it was Tracy with this freaking little white mask. And that's what caught my eye. And I looked at it. I swear it felt like I looked at it for about 10 seconds and it wasn't registering. And then all of a sudden I started screaming like at the top of my lungs. So everyone was like looking at me because they couldn't really see the window. And they're like, what the hell? And then I was like, sorry, I'm going to swear, but I'm like, fuck Tracy. I was like so freaked out. And then she starts laughing and then they could all see and whatever. So the best part of it, though, was that her daughter was with her and she got the video from the outside.
That's what I saw. And I was waiting and I heard you screaming.
Yeah. So it was funny. We all had a good laugh and whatever. So, but it was, I screamed so damn loud and like, it was like one of those things where it shocks you. Like even my face, I was like, my face is not, I can't feel anything. So we laughed. We were sitting there all night laughing. But yeah, that it was, I did want to talk about that, like our, beading circles and beading groups and things like that. And it feels like I haven't done that for so long, like been part of a bigger group beading. I'm often in classes or I do teach at my store and those are just as fun too. But I don't know what the difference or why it felt different being in someone's home and like we're there in pajamas and people are bringing food every week and, things like that. So it was really nice to be part of a group again like that. I've been teaching in groups and things like that. But it was a little bit more intimate this time and it's a little bit more, it was cozier and it was just more, it was nice just being at somebody's home where everyone's in their PJs, bringing food every week and things like that. And I really enjoy teaching like different groups who, for the most part, I knew all the ladies that were there. I can't say that I know them all super well.
Yeah.
A few of them I do, but that's what's nice about it is that you get to,
meet other people.
yeah, and
see,
become more acquainted, I guess. So it was fun. It was really nice. I'm
just laughing at your acquainted.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the time and the space that we had. And I was doing a purse class with them.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. So it was fun. So I'll probably still drop in on them, even though our class is done.
Yeah.
They're going to continue beading throughout the winter and things like that. But yeah, I was like, I'll probably pop on back in whenever I can, But I have other things starting now, so I had to wrap it up.
Time.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it.
I took a class, actually, a purse making class with Thea Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this week she had 2 on Monday and Tuesday. She had 2 classes here in Kahnawake, and so I signed up for the second day.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just a really cute little crossbody, or you could have it one that you could carry if you wanted to, like just in your hand, that kind of thing. But I mean, I know how to sew, and I kind of knew I knew the steps in the way to do it, kind of in the very broad sense, not necessarily the specifics. But I just like to learn how to do different things.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like, and I took a skirt making class about maybe, oh my goodness, I want to say a month ago it started at the Golden Age, but with Lori Beauchamp, the great
seamstress of Kahnawake.
Lori Beauchamp. But yeah, it's crazy because when I take a class, I go right into being a student and I almost like forget everything I know.
Well, because sometimes it's things that you know that you taught yourself or you may have learned it, but it's like what you know. And then sometimes it's like, well, what they know and what they're teaching. So it's like, okay.
That, and I was telling Lori, I said, I sew for my family. So I don't really, I mean, not that I don't care about the finishing, but that's not on my top concern because they're not going to be turning it around and looking to see how the finish is. Whereas if I was sewing for somebody else, I'm sure like, you want it to be spot on. But yeah, so I was just saying like, like you have these, what do you call those? Not tricks, but you have like, when you're not going in the straight, oh my goodness, my mind just lost me. Like when you're going from one point to another point, you have these ways that you go that are not the right way.
Like
but
your little checkpoints.
No, like sideline. I don't know. What do you call that when you're like not following the rules? You just do it just however. I can't remember what the word is now. Anyway, that's what I do. I just make it, I make it up, but I just
bullshit your way through.
There you go. There you go. Just to get it done. I know there's a word. Somebody's probably thinking about it right now. But yeah, so And it was the same thing. Like, I mean, not in terms of like the hominess of the place, but just like getting to talk to other people and just, I mean, I should say that the class we were in was very like dead silent. No one was talking.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We talked a little bit in the beginning, but really it was just really quiet.
Oh my God.
But I was like on a mission. Like I wanted to get it done because I had to go home and finish my order. So I was like, I just get that thing done.
For me, it's kind of like I've had classes like that and I'm like, you know what? There's a time and place to be quiet. Like when we're in a class, you need to talk. Now, obviously not when they're instructing or when you're, I guess, deep in your work. But it's kind of like that's the joys for me. That's like half of the fun is going and just talking, telling stories and things like that. So I've had classes where it was a lot of, I guess, people feeling shy and just not wanting to talk or whatever. So you're like sitting there for 3 hours,
but
like
you have
in
to
silence.
Facilitate.
Yeah, but
conversation. Well, unless they're doing like
and well, because sometimes too it gets to the point where there's only so many questions I can ask, and people are like, okay, so I'm like, well, okay, like I'll just continue on.
Music playing when that happens.
I'm not a music person. I am a sit in silence type of person, but not in those kind of settings. I'd rather be like, let's have some little chit chat or whatever, because otherwise I'm just sitting there and they're working and I'm like staring at everyone. So it's kind of weird.
Waiting for them to ask you a question.
Yeah. Right? At the store, if I'm at the store, I do have music on. So that's like.
But not during your class.
Yeah.
Well, that's good though. I mean,
I guess because I get overstimulated. Like if there's like loud shit going on while I'm trying to talk or teach or anything like that, I get like so distracted. I get overwhelmed. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't. So I usually have things like a little bit more quiet. I will have the radio on so we're not listening to each other breathe. But,
Actually also started hosting a bead night at the at the Cultural Center Art Center. I think that's what it's called. KOR Art Center. I think it is its name. It's at the United Church Hall. They're renting out a space there. And so it was last Thursday and it was so nice. There was, I think, I want to say like 6 other people aside from myself. And there was varying degrees of knowledge there, and they all brought their own little projects in to work on, and it was really good. And it was really nice because some of my girlfriends were there and we speak in Geha, and so we were talking, some of it was in Geha, and then the 2 other people who were there were also students of the Radiwana Nerds program, so they were talking, so like they were listening and whatnot. So it was really nice. So
lovely.
But yeah, it was really nice. I got to do some of my beading. It wasn't really a class. I just sat there and I facilitated conversation, and people had some questions about beadwork or whatever, and then they did, and it was
Lovely.
nice. Yeah.
It is. I don't know. I just love it. It was so nice. Like, I really enjoyed my past month with this group, like just getting together with them and beading with them and stuff like that. So I am a little sad that that's ending, but I am starting another class next week. So that'll be at the shop though, but we're doing a yoke class.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it.
I gotta get my beads ready.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you
I have
know.
a weekend. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's a side.
You got a week and a half.
Yeah.
Like they got to prep everything first. So
Money. Anyway.
Lovely, lovely. So we do have a packed, I don't know, like.
You have lots of questions, everybody.
Yeah, there's a lot of
stuff
stuff
to
here.
topics. Lots of topics. to
So
talk about.
it shall be interesting. There's a lot of different things. Oh, I just want to do updates too.
What?
I finished my damn projects. Woo!
The medallions are done.
Oh my God. They
Thank
are
goodness.
done. They are gone. Everyone received them.
Were they a hit?
Yeah. Yes, they were. Everyone loved them. It was so nice. The other day I was stalking, I guess. I shared the medallions on my page because I finally got the word that everyone got them. So that
you could show them.
I could show them. So I posted it, and you know when people will share it? So I was like, hey, holy shit, I got shared. So I got shared 3 times. Sometimes you can't see who it is because it's not your friend. So I was like, all right, whatever. But there was one that shared it. And then there was like other comments underneath. They're like, oh my God, like she's one of my favorite beater. I was like, oh,
it's so nice.
I just felt so like, oh, thank you.
You got the shout out. It's nice to hear that kind of stuff.
And I was like, oh, okay, well, thank you. You know, I'm spying on like their conversation because I could see it, all of it. I was reading it, whatever. So it was nice to see that. So I just wrote like a thank you, you know, like I felt very like, thanks. So yeah, that was nice. But yes, they are all gone. They were well received. I was so worried about shipping them out.
Why is that? Just because you're afraid that they're going to get lost?
Yes. Well, because last year I had sent a medallion out to Kira Pike had bought it. And I was sending it just to Aguzasne. And the one damn time I didn't get tracking. I didn't get nothing. I was like, it's only going to Cornwall or to Aguzasne, wherever. I'm like, you know, she never got it.
She never got it?
She never bloody got it. So I don't know. And it never came back. So I'm like, it was intercepted somewhere, you know. So yeah. So that was I
didn't know that happened.
Yeah. So now I'm scared. Like.
Always get tracking.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So the one time when I didn't I always do it. And I think I was in a rush that day too. So I was like, whatever, just give me whatever, you know. So yeah. So I'm afraid. So this time with this one, I got like the tracking. I got all the, you know.
All the bells and whistles.
Yeah. I was like, oh, hell no. So yeah, but it felt so good to get that done. And then it seems like I just got like a blast of, I don't know if it's because now we're going into official beading season, but now I'm like, okay, I'm on the ball. Like I have my little checklist here. I had a bunch of different things that I had to do. Yeah. And within the last few days, I got 5 of them bumped off. Like
that highlighter, we're going to work.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I had like my donation piece for the.
You're done? Oh yeah, that's that. Oh, that was beautiful. I loved it.
Thank you. I have to hand it in still. It's sitting at the store. I just got to give it to them. And I have it, and I just keep forgetting to like drop it off. But yeah, for that, I really did want to do something like above and beyond because that program really did help my family at one point. So I really want to give back. And then I had a drawing that I had to do for somebody. Like they wanted a whole set just drawn, and they're going to do the beadwork or whatever. But it's like
I thought it meant like a drawing of art piece. No,
just like their the designs and stuff like that. But what threw me is that I really like the concept of it, but it's different. It's flat. It's probably going to be flat work because of what they wanted. It's like her daughter really likes like the rain and thunder and like different things like that. So that was the concept, and she had a fabric already to kind of go off of that had like little clouds on it and stuff like that. And it was just outlines. So I said, I'm just going to take what I can from here and just kind of alter it, and then I'll use that. So I finished it, but was added a box. Like, that's why it was something different. So I just finished that the other night. I sent it to her. They loved it, which I was like, okay.
Isn't that the
Thank
best?
God. Yeah, because
It just
I'm
feels
like,
like
oh.
I'm on track.
Yes.
I
I was
got it.
like, oh. And then I had a million invoices to do for different classes that are coming up and stuff like that. So I had to do that all
Well, that's
like
so
last
good
night.
that you're
2 nights
able
ago.
to now like refocus on kind of on yourself. Like, I guess in a sense, because like when you're blocked with an order, it just kind of weighs on you.
Yeah, it's more of the guilt of it. And it wasn't just,
I know I'm in that guilt right now.
it was that like his order, because I really want to get that done now, you know, that was kind of dragging out for a while.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, no, I need to dedicate, but it's hard when you're, you know,
Living.
yeah, and you're not in the beading mood or space, you know. So I was just, anytime I had something, I was like, okay, let me do it. But then felt like I was getting drawn to a little few things. I'm like, okay, let me work on that real fast and then I'll get back to it. So anyways, it was really good to get that done. And then it was the ornament too. I was like, oh my God, I got a deadline. Like, that has to get done. And because of course I had to be extra and do like such a intricate piece, I was like, oh shit, am I going to get this done in time and whatever. So I just sat and got it done. I blasted through it. So it was good. But yeah, so those are my updates. It was lovely. So I'm like in a good space right now. I'm feeling like
Got a new class started.
pep in my step. Yeah.
You have any projects coming up?
Yeah.
Your eyes look really crazy with that makeup, and then your eyes get real big, like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not really, but I'm beading right now for, we're having the sale the 23rd. Oh, so the pressure's back on.
I know. I just found something today. I was like, man, maybe I could make some of those.
Yes.
But
just finish. Yeah. Well,
I have nothing.
I have a bin full of like the UFOs that the starts kind of thing. So I'm just grabbing stuff from there. I'm doing a medallion. The medallion's almost done. So I want to do like a combination of like gift things like that and then like Christmassy ornament type of things. So, you know, a lot of people were asking last year and I don't think I had anything. I think I did the painted stuff, but I didn't really get to the beadwork. So I want to do a few, like that ornament I just gave. I actually want to use just one panel.
Yeah. And make an
ornament. Because it looks
like
a bell. So I want to do a few things like that. Maybe have a little hanger coming from it so it looks like a bell. But yeah, I'm going to do a few things like that. I want to do my painted ornaments too.
Yeah, those are cute.
So I'll get there. But yeah, right now I feel a lot better. All the things that were like really weighing on my mind are done. So I can just kind of sit now and blast through all the Christmas stuff. But I don't think my kids listen to this, so I can talk about it. But I'm getting them stuff made for Christmas too. Cool. And then I want to bead stuff to match it. So that's right after the sale that I have to jump right into that. So I want to get them, I'm just doing like medallions and different things for them, but stuff so they have for Ganosesne because we're all rotating
stuff.
Yeah, like my daughter and I will share my skirts. I had like a bunch made a few years ago from Dagwa. But my son's girlfriend, Kendra, now too. Like, so she's
in the mix too.
Yeah, so there's 3 of us rotating about 5 skirts and whatever. So I'm like, and they're all my size. They're like tiny and, you know, I'm not. So I'm like, how the hell are these skirts like staying up? I guess the elastic's good enough. But yeah, so I was like, they need their own stuff. So I'm getting them a few things made and whatever. So that'll be for Christmas. But yeah, so that's that.
So let's get into
the
topics that were raised. A question was posed to our audience as to what they wanted to hear on the beading table this episode. So what is it? What is the questions you'd like to bring up, Degariyakwa? Since you posted it, I wrote some of them down too, just in case we missed some. But yeah.
Yeah, so we have a lot here. So where the hell do we start? Maybe we'll save the controversial crap for after. That'll be the exciting stuff. Okay, so should I name them? I have the names.
I don't know. It's up to you. Did they want to be named?
I didn't ask.
Okay, well then no. We won't be naming anybody. And just to let you know, everybody, we have an Instagram page called The Beading Table. So that's where we get our information from. So yeah.
All right. So I guess in the future, if you want to be named, if you don't mind, just let us know. So right now, because nobody said anything, I won't.
Yeah, don't
call
do it.
You out.
Don't do it.
Okay, so some of these we went over before, I guess.
Yeah,
but most likely. Okay, so I have one. It says, what and who inspires you to bead? Is it people or colors or etc.?
I don't want to say myself, but... not to say that I'm only getting my inspiration from myself, but really, I got to be in the mood to start something. So yeah, I mean, it's all kinds of like, that's so generic, but I don't have one. I don't have one particular person or one particular thing. I think I like to, I don't want to say piggyback off other people's success, but when somebody's doing something really cool, I'm like, hey, maybe I should be doing something pretty cool too.
Yes. Yes.
Nothing to do with what they're doing, but just like, man, maybe I should try to do something.
I want to feel good too and do good shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. And then I have to be in that mood, like it really is like.
Me too. And I noticed lately I am embracing my style a little bit and kind of starting to step into what I like and where.
So what is that? What is your style?
My style is I like floral. And I found for a while, because that's what everyone does, that's what we all do, and that's what I do constantly. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, maybe I should step out of the box and do something different. And I was like, but why? That's not what I want. Like,
why should I do earrings when I don't make earrings and people do it really good? And then I gotta learn how to do earrings, even though it's the same thing as being a vamp.
Nobody got time for that shit.
I ain't got time.
Yeah. So that's exactly how I felt. And I was just kind of like, you know what? I like florals. I'm going to do my goddamn florals. And I like my shit to look busy and full. And hey, that's the same. Sorry, she's showing me a picture, but I have the same color palette going on.
Wow,
very similar.
Very Margaret-esque. Anyway.
But yeah, so that's kind of what I started embracing was, like this is what aesthetic. This is what I like. I like floral. So that's what you're going to see from me. You're going to see really busy shit. I'm trying not to make it chaotic busy, but like full busy. Mm-hmm. I like those old fashioned. I think I said this before. So anyways, that's what I'm doing lately. What inspires me, I would say colors. I could see something on anywhere on social media. I could see something outside. I take pictures if it like inspires me, like the color palette. Fabrics will sometimes and like what you were saying, if you see somebody's like success, you're like, oh shit, like that's great. Like I want to do something awesome too. Like, so it motivates me to do something. And I find because of like embracing this new style, or not new, but I like to look at other people's florals, like their floral designs, the flowers, how they're setting up their whole thing, So I like to see that and whatever. So I find like I could look at something and be like, oh, I really like that. I would choose this color maybe differently, or I would maybe place that here or whatever. So then those kind of things like start the wheels going and and that's how I get inspired sometimes. So, yeah.
I think my inspiration comes from people too, I think.
Yeah.
Just because like whether it's order or somebody, order or make, it's that the person really inspires how it's going to look.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was one. So the next question we have, have you ever dreamt of an idea and wake up in the middle of the night and write it down?
No.
No, me either. But I have, of course, it's like, when you lay down, that's when my brain starts because now I'm like calm and relaxed. And then my mind's like, no, going nuts. So I have laid down and like on the brink of sleep. It's not like I'm dreaming about it, but I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, oh shit, those colors. So then sometimes I got to get up and I go to the damn art room and I put colors together and then I go back to bed. Like I've had that, or I've had an idea and then I jot it down before bed because otherwise it's floating around and I probably won't remember it in the morning. So I've had ideas like half asleep, but not dreams of it. And so that was that. Another question. Oh, this one's like jam-packed. Okay. So there's layers to this. Okay, so this is for the two of us, and then the other ones get a little bit more specific, like for me and then for you. Okay, so how do you come up with new patterns that haven't been seen before?
I don't know. You just cut them out of the paper.
Yeah.
Kind of like that trial and error, I guess you would assume. I don't know how. They just come. They're just come in my mind. They're just all of a sudden there.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever made a pattern that was not ever seen before. I think like everything has been something I've seen, then I alter it. So it's not unique.
Not like something, it's not some innovative thing. I mean, maybe the cradle board thing was, but it wasn't like I made I just made a rectangle and beat it on and put it on the back of the cradle board. Like it's not it's not anything new. So I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I can't really.
I don't know.
I don't do anything new and fresh.
We're just old hags recycling.
Old hags. Yeah, we just steal shit and alter it slightly. So
we
that's
just
all.
steal it. That's a good one. Here first.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Go for it.
Hide your pictures because I'm coming for it.
That's it. She's going to zoom in.
I'm zooming on in. All right. So yeah. All right. So I'll start with your jet first.
Okay.
And then I'll go to my questions.
Go for it.
So for Leith.
Yes.
All right. How did you decide to have an office outside of your home? I guess how and why?
Why? One, because I didn't have an office at home. I had given my room to a child because I had another child. And I had nowhere to bead. And I was beading at the table. And at the time, I think I wasn't working at the time, maybe I was working. I can't remember really at this moment, at this juncture. But I was beading at the table constantly, and I was finding my family to be more of a nuisance. And I realized that's not a way to be. And I think I'm feeling that way again because I've been beading at my house for the past couple weeks, not getting into the office. So I happened to run into Margaret and became her fast friend and then asked her to rent a spot. So it's just because I didn't want to be, I needed a place for my stuff and I needed somewhere to be that would make it more like a job rather than at home. And then you're in my space and I don't like it. And don't talk to me while I'm beading, but I'm at the kitchen table. That's not really good for somebody who's trying to stay married and raise kids in a nice way.
Yes.
Because I enjoy the isolation of beadwork. That's why I bead with headphones on, because I like to be by myself, even if I'm in a room full of people. But that's not very conducive to good relationship habits.
All by myself. All right. So, okay. So the next one is,
yes.
How often do you order beads?
Whenever the hell I want to.
Whenever I goddamn feel like it.
Whenever the wall at the shop is getting low, I think I should buy some. And it's usually probably like every quarter of the year, mainly. But yeah.
Yeah, because, that too. It's kind of like when the wall starts to get, and because it takes a while to process it too. Yeah. So it takes about 2-3 weeks, depending on your life. So
for some of you who might be listening, I do sell beads out of Traditions under the name Leith's Beads. You can find out on Instagram. I don't post very often, but yeah, so I sell beads.
Lovely. Alrighty, so the next question up. How do you decide on the colors to order?
I just pick whatever I like. And just from years of experience, I know there's certain colors that certain people want, the community at large would like. And so I do that. And then also sometimes the price, because prices increase so much. So if it's too expensive, then I won't buy. But since sometimes I'm like, I think I'm just going to buy all these ones that I never bought. And that's kind of what happened this time. So right now I'm sitting on over 200 different colors that I have yet to start to put in the tubes. And I have to get them on the wall so people can buy them for this beading season. So yeah.
Lovely. All righty. How did you decide to leave your job to focus on beading?
Well, thankfully, I didn't leave my job. I just did not renew or apply for a job. My contract was ending and it just by happenstance, there was an opportunity for me to apply for Indigenous artist in residence. Had I not had that opportunity, I don't necessarily think I would have left my job because I liked my job. I just don't think I would have taken that chance not to have any income coming in. So that was a plus. I think that might be a rarity unless you are funded for some kind of project that you're doing. But then at the same time, when you're funded for a project, you might not necessarily get the amount that would be substantial for a job. But yeah, a lot of planning, a lot of communication. So I just didn't say, hey, I'm going, like, that's it. See you later. And then I also moved. So I wasn't just like leaving my job. I actually moved out of the province for a while. So short-term basis for any of those people who are in government who are trying to say I wasn't here, I was here. No. But yeah, so yeah, that's how I did it. I just, trying to make my dreams come true, and they did. So, I made my dreams come true, and now I'm trying to look for my other dreams.
On to the next dream.
Yes.
Alrighty, so that concludes your questionnaire.
Do you want me to read your questions? I don't have them in front of me though, but or you want to read your own question?
Well, I don't care if you want.
Do you?
Well, whatever. I have it here.
Okay, you read them.
Okay, so these are for me. How did the idea of traditions come about? So, did we talk about this?
I don't know. Yes, we did. We have talked about it in the past.
Okay, so I will do it quick and whatever. So I hated my job. I hated the job I was at. It had run its course and I decided to leave. I had always had an idea about my art, not really teaching at the time, but selling my art.
Mm-hmm.
I was more into painting and slight beadwork at the time, I would say. Or no, I was beading. Yeah, I was. But I was incorporating the both and whatever. So that was the idea, was I was going to open a shop to sell my stuff. At the time, it was more of like, one day I'll retire and I'll be 100 and I'll do that, you know? So when I decided to leave my job, though, that's when it all just kind of clicked and opened up. So, yeah, so that's how that came about. Next question was, how did you come up with the name? So the name, oh my God, it was hard. I was sitting there just throwing words out. Greg was saying words, just random, like trying to spark something. And then I was talking with my friend Trisha Goodleaf and same thing. We just kept like, it would be like one day she'd send a few words, then like few days she would send another word. And then finally she wrote like, what about like traditions? And I was like, I like. And at first though, I didn't like just the one word. I'm like, oh, maybe it needs like traditions, art shop and studio. Like I ended up adding that, but now we just use traditions. Like, yeah. And it fits.
And it's like I can't imagine it. It's like when they had the store Homespun.
Yeah.
It's just like a word that's just so nice, you know, warm and cozy.
So inviting. So that's how it came up. Actually, Trisha was the one who gave the word and I was like, ooh, I like it. So that's what we did. So next question is, how did you find the location? So the location found me.
Yeah, that was just interesting. Yeah.
I was scrolling. I was laying in bed scrolling and I had seen a post. I scrolled through it and then it came back again. I was like, oh my God. That's kind of actually really how all of it started. Was from that moment, laying in bed and just scrolling Facebook because Jacob's Hardware had a unit open. And I was like,
I can do this.
I can do this. I have none else to do right now. So I was like, can I do this? Can I really do it? Like, what the hell am I going to do? So the second time I scrolled, I'm like, it's a sign. So I called right away and I said, can I come and check it? So she said, yeah. I went. The space was like a good space. The rent was really good. And I was like, okay, we're just going to make it work. I had nothing, not a goddamn thing to put in that store. When I signed with them, I had nothing. I had nothing. I didn't even have like a business proposal. I had nothing. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I knew that it was going to be a store and that I was going to be selling my shit. Yeah. So,
and I think I emailed you or texted you even before you actually had the store.
Possibly. Because I don't even remember all the events. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just said, if you're interested, do you think I could rent a spot?
I think because I had posted, I don't remember like the events that followed. I don't remember all of that stuff. Like I do remember like calling Greg and saying like, hey, guess what? I'm opening a store. And he was like, wait, like, what are you selling? Like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. And I went to my mother's and she was like, okay, like good for you. And she was like, same thing, like, well, okay, what the hell? Like, you'll figure it out. Like, she's more optimistic and she's very like, you know, like, yeah, well, it'll work out. Whatever the hell's going to happen will happen. So, but yeah, I just, it actually just leads into the next question. Yeah. So it said, how did you finally decide to open the store? I had to get in there. I had to start it was clean, but I had to start like zhuzhing it up and doing my own thing because there was stuff in there from the previous owners. So I had to just start organizing the space. I had to start getting all of the shelving and my caches and all of that stuff. And I don't even know, well, because I do have a lot of artist friends too. Yeah. So I was kind of like, well, why not invite them to join the space and be part of this too? Yeah. So I had opened up to a few friends and asked like, well, you want to sell some shit in here? Like I have to fill this space too on top of it. So that's kind of how it came to be. And because at the time I wasn't working, like opening a store costs money. Yeah. So the best idea at the time was basically doing things on consignment because I wasn't paying outright for anything. And it was just being entrusted in me to sell and, you know, so that's kind of how that whole idea came about. And then I had some donations. It was super nice. Like people just came out of the woodwork. Like I'm not big on like, not that I'm not, open to things like that, but I have a hard time asking for things like that. So I won't go and ask for like, oh, hey, hi, whatever. So I just had friends that came up to me and they were so excited for this new opening. And they were like, here you go. And gave me like, some money and I put it all towards like the massive table that's in there, the shelving that's in there. So, a lot of that went to all of those things. So it was really nice to, do all of that shit. So I finally decided to open the store when I felt like I had enough stuff in there. And it was probably very scarce and sparse in there at the time. Like there wasn't that much. And then it just started building because I had opened it up now to the community and I had more and more people bringing things in. So that's how that all happened. Now the next question was, how was it the first month you opened? I don't remember. To be honest, I don't remember. It was a whirlwind. I think the first week, the first day was insane because it was jam-packed. It was like an evening opening. I remember writing things out and not really knowing what I was doing yet, like how I was going to be keeping track of like people's things. So I was writing it in the book and stuff like that. And I was forgetting to mark
who
sold what.
Yes, I remember that.
So now at the end of the night, I was like panicking and freaking out. But I learned real quick I needed like descriptions and I needed certain things. So luckily I figured it all out. And so that's how I formed my system, like what worked best for me, what I could remember and whatever. So, yeah.
When did we open or when did you open? I say we because it was like
the royal we. Yeah. August 28th.
What year? 2019?
18.
Get out.
Yeah. Yeah. 7 years. And how did you feel? Here's the other one. How did you feel leaving job security? I wasn't worried about it. When you're in a space that you're not happy in anymore, I didn't care. I just figured like, I don't care. I'll work anywhere. I'll do whatever I need to do to get going. Yep. Like if I have to work at a convenience store, if I got to pump gas, I don't give a shit. I'll do something else. Yes. I was just very unhappy in the space I was in. And I was suffering. I was like on stress leave. I was like,
not a good spot.
No, I like not mentally healthy at the time. Like I was just not, and I think a lot of it was just the space I was in. So I liked the job I was in. So leaving it, I didn't even think about what am I going to do? Because I was like, I got a lot of skills. I'm going to goddamn do something. I don't give a shit. I'll figure it out. So I left.
And I think even for myself, like with the job I had now, if I wasn't going to get what it is I wanted in terms of like my time schedule, because I only work every other week, I thought the same thing. Like, I would be fine with just doing a job that was like I didn't have to, not necessarily that was anything. Like you said, pumping gas or working at a convenience store, anything like that. Because I don't mind working. I need to work. But then at the same time, I don't need the different kind of stress too that some jobs might have.
Yeah.
So
I think that's where I'm at too. I've like started living a lifestyle where like, of course, things are very stressful, but I can maintain or I can decide what stresses I want right now. Whereas where I don't have an option. Like I have classes coming and I know, okay, that class is going to be real rough. I have to do it anyways. And I didn't like not being in control of my own decisions anymore and not feeling supported and, those kind of things. So now I'm in a space where, okay, I'm having, like things are getting too much.
Well, ease back here and know that you're in control and you can do that and things aren't going to be, you're not going to suffer the consequences.
Yeah. And it's, like money wise, like I have multiple things kind of going on. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's too crazy. But when the stresses get too crazy, then it's like, okay, well, you know what, right now I'm going to stop with the classes, but then I'm going to take more time to do my own beading and I can sell that way. So I try to make sure that everything is lucrative that I'm doing. So that way, if I need to stop one, something else can kind of get picked back up. Yeah. So that's kind of how I rotate, I guess, my life right now. And the last question for me was, do you ship to other communities? Yes, I do. I do. Yeah. But I'm always scared now because of this damn shit. But, but yeah, I do. So that's it. Yeah. Cool. So those were those questions specifically for us. Oh, I had actually, okay, so this was just a comment or like something to drop some discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So the question was, and she said, you can say my name. So, all right. So, Nyawa Garuyahawe Linda Delormier.
Oh, okay, cool.
So she had a question and it created some conversation yesterday.
Oh, at the bead group? Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So her question was like, how your personalities, well, it's not really a question, sorry, it's a statement, I guess, how your personalities come out in your work. So we were talking about kind of like how when you're beading, how does it show up, like different personalities and things like that? And she was mentioning, she's like, sometimes she feels high strung. So she's like, my work can be super tight sometimes. And then, so it started that conversation and how I said, well, for me, I'm a perfectionist. Yeah. And I said, so mine shows up in like, everything has to be in its place. Everything has to be perfect. I will rip it out if it's not, and those kind of things. So it was just an interesting, like topic, different personalities and I don't know how things come about. So I was joking. I was like, well, what if you have like sloppy work? Then what? Like, what's the personality that fits with that? But it's, I guess
it could be like laissez-faire. It's like, it is what it is and that's okay.
Yeah. And like laid back, super laid back. So yeah, we were just talking about those kind of things. So it was more of
like a yeah, it's interesting. How does your personality reflect in your beadwork, I guess, right? Or maybe anything that you're doing in terms of creativity.
Yeah.
Wise.
And as like somebody who has sat and taught different people, and I've been in a lot of classes, like I can't say that I've always paid attention to those things like in class for beading.
I think for me as a teacher, I would think of how are you as a student? Yeah. That's what I would pick up on. Like, are you on the more needy side? And some people are. Are you on the, I'm going to do it my way and then cry about it after because I got it wrong and then whine because I got to take it out because it looks like crap? Or am I a patient person who is just waiting for the teacher to tell me what to do and I can do some things on my own, but then I need to have reflection and critique before I continue somewhere else? Or am I the person who I can only make one stitch a night because I can't decide what color to pick and I think my line is wrong? You could be anybody. And those are the things I would pick up on.
Yes. So those are the things that I do see. Like for the most part, most people will just do their own thing at their own pace. And for me, it's kind of like you do what you can.
Yep.
The only ones that I do have to address at times are the ones who I know are their own worst enemies, where they're stopping themselves. Like they'll do like the whole damn piece.
They're very hesitant.
Yes. But then not even hesitant. Like they'll do it. And then it's done and then they rip it all out and redo it. So I'm like, for me in those cases, I'm like, don't goddamn rip it out. Just start another one. Keep that one and do
something else.
Yeah, don't ruin, like don't get rid of everything that you've just done.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like beading, personalities, different things, like everything you basically named, I've seen. I've also had ones where, have I really? I don't know. I don't want to say it in a bad way, but kind of like who know what they're doing or may not, or just want to do their own thing and they come and it's kind of like, which is fine. But then I've had some where it's like know-it-alls, like, so if I'm teaching anything, like they're correcting me, which is okay. But then I was like, okay, so I don't know. Like, it's just weird sometimes because then I'm like, well, then why do you take a class if you're going to tell the teacher what
to do,
how to do it?
You've had people, have I ever done that to you? No, I don't think so. Because I like to learn from somebody else because I want to know what they're doing.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. And I don't mean like they're doing it in a mean way or anything like that, but it's just sometimes it's the comment. It's kind of like, it's like to let everyone know that they know. Oh. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Yeah. So those are some of the things that I've seen. And then you have the ones that just like know what they're doing and they just do their own thing, which is cool too, and it's like, or sometimes it's like I have classes where I learn a thing or two because they have their own experiences. They've done it certain ways and then they reteach, so it's cool that way too. So yeah, I've seen it all.
Personality.
But I think I've seen more personality, or I noticed it more when I do my painting classes, where I can see right away, like control, people who have control issues, people who have anxiety, people who like beat themselves up.
And people like, and isn't that one of the things people like always have a workshop for? Like, let's have a workshop for get Skana and do painting. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. And then like half the time, like people are like having a meltdown in the class, or, like I've had maybe 2 cases where I've had people quit because they got so frustrated because it wasn't coming out, not even like the way mine did. It wasn't that they were trying to do that, but I guess whatever image they had in their mind, it wasn't happening. So they just quit and left it. I did have one girl who was doing it, and she, I think, was trying to adapt to mine, but it was totally not her vibe. So, and I would never limit anybody to what I don't know if she felt pressured or whatever. And I was like, I don't care. Do whatever you want. Like, because she had a whole different vibe. She was already an artist too. So she was trying to adapt to what she was seeing, and it was not her, you know? And I always make it a point, because I remember in high school having a teacher who would kind of sometimes take over your painting. And then when it's done, it looks like her work and not your own. So I try to be very mindful about that when I'm helping people. Like, I'll ask, is it okay if I
do this or
do this? Yeah. Or whatever. So for hers, she wasn't okay with that. She didn't want me to touch it so I said, okay, that's fine. You know, like I gave suggestions. I said, they're only suggestions. You don't have to do them. So she eventually found her way. But it was it's interesting. It's interesting to see like everyone's different ways and, you know,
their characters. Yeah. Well, because it could be a stressful situation, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing something brand new.
Yeah. And sometimes people feel very vulnerable because it's out there for everyone to see, you know, so. Yeah. So that was that. So, that was that. We do have, I guess we will get on to you want to bring that one up?
Which one? The quill work one?
Yeah.
So somebody had posed a question. It says, quill work, basically asking us about the quill. Oh, wait, no, I don't want to do that one yet.
Yeah.
I want to do this one because it was another one, but this was not to do with the drama, but I guess it's kind of dramatic in a way. Okay. So it says, how do you go about bringing up to someone that you know does raised beadwork, but isn't Haudenosaunee? And then I had to say, well, what is the context? What is the issue, basically? Because there must be something, like, that's not just something that would come up in conversation. There must be something that's going on. So I tried to get the context of it. And of course, me trying to be giving the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they married into the community. Maybe they are from another community. Are they Ungwahue? All of these other things. So then the context that was given is that they're not Ungwahue and they do not live in the community and they're not married in, but they've also taken other classes that are, say, like Inuit seal mitten classes or Ojibwe style moccasins or whatever, that kind of stuff. So that was the question. And then the follow up to that was, do you tell them to stop? Is it okay? Should we gatekeep beadwork? And I know you don't like the word gatekeep, but in this case, that's what the word was uses. What is the protocol? Should we only be teaching Haudenosaunee people? And how far is too far? And I was just like, wow, that's a very interesting topic or question. And I'll bring it to discussion. I thought we'd have our special guest in because I was under the impression that they're coming. Maybe that's something we can leave to later on. I don't know. Do you want to talk about it? I was just like, I don't know. Like, are they trying to sell it and say that they are Ungwahue? Are they making money off of it? I don't know. Like, you know, and they said, and it's somebody who's taken classes already. So people have opened up the door to learning because like everyone is like free to be part of the crew. I think that's kind of like how the world is turning, and not into a bad way. And no one come for the haters, come for me because I'm saying this, but it's true. Like everyone is like, not everyone. A lot of places are let everybody learn together. We're all whatever, we're all humans and all that kind of jazz and all this stuff. And I'm all for equality, you know, like everyone should have access to things, the necessities of life, like everyone should. That goes without saying. Yeah. But I don't know if learning how to do Haudenosaunee is a necessity for everybody to live their lives. I think it's something that is,
to me, I don't know. I look at it like, I don't know. It's
a touchy subject.
You know what? If somebody's doing it closetly in their house, like, and I don't know, who gives a shit, like, whatever.
But what
they're
is the
doing
issue? Like, that's why I asked her. I said, what is the issue? Like, why does it need to be brought up? Is there something going on? Are they trying to steal your thing? I mean, I didn't get into that, but that's like part of the discussion. Are they trying to sell it somewhere?
Yeah.
Are they teaching somebody else? Like, I always thought, like, if you're teaching in a school and you don't have a lot of people to show the kids how to do these things, then a teacher who is not Ungwahue having that knowledge to share with her students who are, let's say, predominantly Ungwahue would be great if they can't have somebody come in there on a daily basis to help them, because that part of the curriculum should be,
Mhm.
teaching their ways or whatever, however you want to say it, the curriculum part. So that would be fine. But then I don't know.
I think it's the intent.
How far is too far?
Yeah, and then like what I think it's like where it goes afterwards is kind of like, okay, somebody's taken a class, and we've talked about this before, like who the hell wants to open Pandora's box is basically what it is. Because now if you're teaching people who are not part of your community, who are not ungwehue, like where does it go after?
Yeah.
Are they learning so that they can create a business from that? Then for me, that's cultural appropriation. Like you're not part of that living culture that creates these, that's not your art. You know, so that's where I find sometimes it gets a little bit dicey, where it goes into question. If people are doing it at home and in private, I don't know, like that, I guess doesn't really bother me. Like it's whatever. They're not making profit off of it. They're not, you know, it's when people are taking it, using it, claiming to be something they're not. Those are the cases that kind of burn my ass a bit more. But yeah, I guess there's like, everyone has their own thing. Some people are hell set up against it. Like, no, not at all. Yeah. I've worked, like you said, in a school setting where, you know, we do work with non-ungwehue people who work with our kids, who are teaching our kids. So, you know.
You have to have like
some
cultural
knowledge,
training or something like that. You have to know. I mean, you can't be walking into a classroom and not know about the people that you're teaching. You shouldn't be anyway. You shouldn't.
Yeah, they should have some understanding.
Yeah. So whether you hold that knowledge, whatever they call it. No, I don't want to offend anybody, so I'm not going to say anything. But if that's not like, you know what I mean? Like, but I think because ultimately this is a question that says, yes, you are allowed, or no, you're not allowed. And that's going to offend somebody, because that's just what that is, you know?
Everybody's going to have their own opinion.
So whoever's listening, that's just how it is. And any ungwehue person who is listening to this knows it's a touchy situation. Yeah. And knows that maybe in our heart to heart, we should just say, sorry, no new joiners. Like, I hate to say that, but that's the truth.
Can't sit here.
Can't sit here. Next.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and the reality is that's what the reality is. And that is what my gut is saying.
Yeah.
That is just say, you know, maybe this isn't for you. But at the same time, I've learned how to do
it's more like maybe this isn't for me, like to teach you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the same. Like I do. I just had the actually something like that happen where a lady that I've worked with for years and years, she's the sweetest, kindest lady in the world. But in my situation where I am teaching at the store and things like that, I do prioritize our own. I do. And she asked, and she said, like, are your classes only for residents or only ungwehue, or, you know? And she said, and if that is the case, that's totally fine. She understood and she was cool about it, you know? So I did, you know, as much as I would, but I was like, but do you need to learn how to make moccasins? Like, maybe they're for her. I don't know, like those kind of things. So, but I do really like our friendship and things like that. And I was pleased that she was okay with. So I did say I do prioritize the community. Yeah. Like I want to have our community learning our stuff. So, you know, it is what it is. And I think that's another thing too, is that when you have people who are not ungwehue who cry about it and want to yell at people, and
I guess they're not allowed to learn.
Yeah, or like that
or feel like they're ostracized or not welcome.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, you know, like
that's a whole nother conversation.
Exactly. So, and it's everyone's going to be touchy about something, but I think that's where I would get mad. Like that's kind of like that situation with the tattooing and all of that. Where,
we talked about that before.
Yeah, too. So that because the wife more than the actual guy in question, but the wife was the one who was more upset about the whole thing of us talking about, like, well, you know, if you're not.
We talk in the podcast?
Yeah, I think we did. I brought it up.
No, we talked about it on the podcast. I didn't know there was a follow-up to after we talked about it on the podcast.
Well, no, I think I was just like that whole situation. Okay, I think I did bring it up. Like the wife was more upset about that because he was being called out for being non-ungwehue and
doing these tattoos.
Yeah, and doing all these tattoos with all of our symbols. So, but that's what pissed me off more, was that because I'm like, you're not part of this community, you're not part of this culture, and you're taking all of our shit and selling it. Like, and you're mad at me now because I'm saying something about it. Like, that's what pissed me off, you know? Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, so
that was one of the questions we got. So maybe we'll bring it up for our special guest next month. See what they, And then I guess the other one we're going to talk about is it came through the internet and I did not know anything about this. So I had to do a little bit of backtracking and seeing, and I still really don't have clarification. And I was going to like try to delve into it, but I'm just going to do what the question said or the comment was said and see like, you know, what's going on. So it says the Quillwork drama on FB. And it says, what do you think about the woman passing off her work as quill work? And it's plastic. So this is what I wrote because this morning I was like in a good space and I thought this is what I need to say. So I know that I'm saying what I think is okay for me to say without, you know, saying something wrong that might be untrue. So first and foremost, I did my own scrolling and looking to see what this person was doing. I'm not going to name who it is because, you know, if that's...
Y'all know anyway.
Anyway, yeah. And this person didn't write it in the thing. So first and foremost, I have to say that nowhere did I see it mentioned on the specific things that there's quill work. They didn't say quill work, but it looks like it's wrapped quill work. So there's that. And I said, unfortunately, for this artist, they did not indicate either that anything was plastic. And if that was the case, I, as an artist who wants to maintain a good reputation, I would have indicated the materials listed. Maybe they have in the past, but I didn't see that. And maybe I would say like loyal buyers or something might know or whatever, but that was not mentioned. So it wasn't written anywhere in the description. And I said it should have been, especially when it was for a very substantial cost, about $300. And
US.
if US and, you know, but then the buyer too has to be, you know, wondering what it is and maybe asking questions too. So that's another thing. But, you know, I would want to know what that was made out of. And then I did some more research because this person is a artist who also attended the Santa Fe Indian Market. And on her piece that she submitted, she did indicate that what was on there was quill work. Now, I don't know 100%. Did I zoom in on it? Of course. And did it look like it was real quills? Yes. Did it look like the earrings that were posted? No. So that looked very different. And then I scrolled on multiple things that were earring-like, and it all looked like the said piece in question that was made out of plastic. But on the bag, it did not look like it was plastic. It did look like quill because you can see in the quill dye, and I zoomed in, everybody. You can see on the quills when they're dyed, they don't necessarily have a uniform sometimes. Sometimes you can see the grain of the quill coming through. Or it fades
in certain areas.
The dye.
Yeah.
This had those characteristics, whereas the other item in question did not.
So from what I had...
And they were all the same size on the other things, where on the quill work, it was thinner like quills were.
Yeah.
And
so from what I understood, though, from what we had seen, I might be wrong, though, was that actual little quill work piece, though, that was on there was not done by her.
Well, that I don't know. And I did not see that. Because what happens is that you have a collaboration.
You're supposed to market
and it specifically says it in the rule, you have to market. And you also have to not have plastic on your stuff. That is like general and mass-produced thingamajigs and whatever. There's a lot of things involved.
Yes.
Now, I also read that it might have possibly done by somebody else, but I don't know that. And I almost this morning reached out to both people involved and asked, but I was like, you know what? It's probably very...
They'd be like, what the F?
Probably very early in the morning for me to do that, and I probably wouldn't get a response. So I was just like, I don't know.
Or a good one anyway.
Or a good one. But I also reached out to another co-worker to ask, like, hey, did you hear about this? What's going on? And they said no. They had only saw it on Indigenous TV.
Wow.
And that is Indigenous TV is an Instagram site, I think, that has different things that come up.
I feel like I saw it on there too because I saw
this plastic, whatever. I didn't necessarily read all the comments because I was late at night. I was doing all this scrolling and I went to sleep. So I didn't really get to check that out. So if anybody's interested, you can check that out. Also, another question came up that was kind of interesting related to this very same thing is the lady had a raffle and then she changed the terms of the raffle, which I don't think is really cool. If you're doing a raffle, not after you sold all the tickets.
Or
and people are buying.
But after the draw too, I believe.
Oh.
I believe there was one winner and that one winner was contacted after her name was already pulled and then was told, I'm redrawing so that more people can win.
Well, sometimes people buy a ticket because they think they're going to win a whole lot of stuff. And then if you change the rules on them, that's not really cool. So
Like
I'm not
after
down with
effect.
that. Like
That's like me, doing a moccasin raffle and being like, well, sorry, you're only going to get one side because I want somebody else to use. So somebody else is getting the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like all terms should be out there immediately because then it's false advertising after that. And people have bought into it and they're not getting what they actually paid for.
Yeah.
So I had a interesting conversation with Greg.
About this?
Of course, I always play things around, and he always like
chooses the size of glory and
No,
glory.
He always wants to say it's like devil's advocate.
That's what I mean, because as
you have to be like critical on
as
it
a
on both sides. Yeah,
we got to be seeing everything for what it is, but some of it's kind of shady. I hate to say it's a shady biz. This is shady business, and I don't know. And I'm just glad my name is not attached to that because I don't want that.
Yeah, because it is kind of like deceiving a little bit, and that was Greg's reaction. He was like, "Well, did it say that it was cool work?" And I was like, "It fucking did not." So I was like, "Okay, well, all right, 1 point for you." And then I was like, so then he was like, "And is it also considered just art? You know how like." Some art could look like shit and people are, because I was like, well, they're this much and it's plastic. And he was like, yeah, but people can charge whatever they want for art. And I was like, shut the hell up.
That's true.
So he was putting all these points out there, so which are true. They are true, whether I agree with it or not. I do think that if you are making something to look like something.
Should say imitation.
It should say imitation. That's my opinion.
Imitation raised beadwork.
Oh
my goodness,
but who's to say you have to? You know what I mean? Like that's the other part of it is like you don't have to, but then this is a consequence of it too.
It might be over social media.
Yeah, when somebody
30 years ago it wouldn't have been.
Yeah, because it does and it doesn't state what it is. It doesn't say that it's quill work. It doesn't say that it's plastic. So I think that I feel like it's misleading. That's what it is. And it's just not open. And it's like, and why not? Like if you're proud to sell those kind of things and that's your art, why not indicate what it is? And why not this is what it is.
Okay. So I said, like I wrote on my paper, $300, yikes.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, I don't think I could wrap that little thing around it to look like that. Like not the first try.
Mm-hmm.
It takes skill like anything, but the idea is that, the lady assumed it was quill work. She didn't ask if it was quill work either. So that's one thing. And that's like another point for Greg. So that's the case. But I don't know. I don't know.
To me, it's shady. It's you're like,
and did she take it apart because she
it was bugging her. She just said like, it was like nagging at her because it didn't.
Was it that only that one color or was it all of it?
No, all of it. The whole thing was plastic. Yeah.
Well, because all the rest, the other things on her site too also have that same look. And you can tell, like, for sure, if that one thing was plastic, then the rest of them were plastic. But, like people buy, what do you call that? Because stuff made out of the computer, what do you call that? People make it and it's like 3D printing. That's plastic, so whatever.
Well, I know what that is. You know what I mean? I guess that's what it is. It's just, you feel kind of like
shrinky dinks. I'm thinking about shrinky dinks.
You feel lied to, I guess, basically. It's like you just feel like you've been deceived, you've been taken.
But you also didn't ask the right questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're under the guise. You're under the assume. What's that thing? Something make it fool me once, something again, something twice or whatever. Like, they assumed it was that and it wasn't.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know. But nowhere in her thing did I see I wrap plastic around whatever thing. But I did see on the piece that she won for, she did have a description of what it was, because you have to have a description of your piece, and that's what it says. And it looked like quills on that. Now, you're saying you brought up a new piece of information. It could possibly have been made by somebody else. If that's
from what
the sounds of what's going around on the tubes.
Like from what I read or how I'm seeing it, I don't know if I'm right though, whatever, so don't come for me, but was that it was a earring that was taken apart. So it's like pieced out or something like that. It was taken from somebody else's work and then put on there. And it was like not the original but it's somebody else's work. That's kind of what I understood.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I'm right though. Maybe I'm misunderstanding it. So.
But when I did see her piece laid out, because I did check her pictures and I did check my own pictures. I didn't have a picture of her stuff, but I checked pictures. it just says her name on it. And and it was an interesting thing that she made. Like it was really
Yeah.
fault her for that. But so like I wrote in at the bottom, I'm no expert. I'm not. So, it says, I'm no expert. Don't come for me. It writes, but that's what I'm saying because we were asked a question and I did as much research as I could because I want to make sure that, we're not just saying whatever comes off the top of our head or whatnot. So, but like make sure you write what you're making your stuff out of. Make sure you give details. Don't change a raffle,
little things.
Just try things like, treat your customers how you want to be treated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really when it comes down to it, your clients or anybody, treat them how you want to be treated.
Yeah. Like what if I did, a custom raffle and then I bought a store pair and then slap something on it. You know what I mean? Like it's custom because it's your size,
It's custom because you add something to it.
Yeah. So I guess, I don't know, if you're going to talk and say something, honor it, I guess. Like, if you're, selling. And you know what? Okay. Before we wrap it up, I do want to say that like, I hope our last podcast, I didn't trigger too many people. Like I did have feedback from it where people were saying that it was a little rough to hear. So I'm not going to apologize for it because I'm not, but well, no, not in that case, but I mean like, because it is what it is, but it's like, I don't want to be triggering people either, but it's, unfortunately, that was my reality for a little while. So, but yeah, it's heavy. It was heavy. So, I hope that it wasn't too heavy for you all. But yeah, like I can't say that it's something that, I can or want to apologize for because it is what it is. But, I just hope that everyone's okay afterwards. And yeah. So no, I'm done.
And hopefully it either helped to open communication with somebody that you might care about that might be struggling with some of those things. Maybe it helped you to look and say, maybe I need to check, or maybe it helps you to say, you know what, I'm just not ready yet. And that's okay too. So, yeah. Well, thank you for that. And that's all I have for today. How about you? Awesome. So that was our episode of the Beading Table. We hope you come back again for next month. We will have a special guest. And we'll be posting probably their identity when we have confirmation of when she'll be in or they'll be in.
Yep. And
then, we'll take it from there. So have a great day, everybody. And Yaman for listening to the Beading Table.
Happy Halloween.
It sounds like Santa Claus.
It will be tomorrow.
The views and opinions of the guests expressed in this podcast do not reflect those of Iorì and its employees.